unidades, comiencen el ataque.
Hemos perdido contacto con el enemigo. Retírense, repito, retírense.
Sniper's got us targeted.
Frag out.
So, what's up my peeps? Matrix Native here. And in today's video, you got it. This is what I was issued pretty much and what I carried for my first 4 years in the United States Army. Hope you enjoyed today's video, my peeps. Operators, on your feet! Let's get the fuck downrange. So, operators, ¿qué pasó? Hope today is going well for you, my friends. So, you know what to do. Hit that back or select button. Double tap over the loadout. Double tap that Y, and here we are in the head.
That's what she said.
So, facial hair, as always, none. Hair, we're going to keep it squared away today. Now, I'm not hating you a whole lot. If you want to go ahead and throw the Warhawk on, shit, I was about to. But to be honest, we're going to keep it squared away. Again, this is pretty much what I wore and carried, let's say, my first 5 years in the United States Army. Now, some will differ a little, but we'll get into that as the build goes on. Hair color, obviously for today, we're going to keep it brown, keep it real life. Obviously, that's optional. Facial detail, today, as always, burn on the left side. Again, optional for the build today. Body details, today, hey, if you don't got Bravo open, don't worry about it. Just use the big red one. It actually fits the build a little better, but it's Bravo, and I kind of like it, and I just opened it, so who would have that. So you can either use, if you don't want to use the Bravo, or if you don't have it unlocked, the Screaming Eagle fits for this. To be honest with you, the big red one, that's the one I'd use if I didn't have the Bravo open. But you can mess around with them, really. It's kind of optional for the build, you know, as long as you keep it in some kind of desert type woodland camo. So let's go ahead, hit the Bravo there. Right arm, of course, why wouldn't I? Santa Maria. Left arm today, I'm going to switch it up from the battle cross, of course. I'm just going to go back to Mi Familia. Me personally had no tats when I signed up, and you know, a lot of people did, some people didn't. I never got tatted until I got into the military. Go ahead, Mi Familia on my left, of course. All this is optional. Clothes today. Now, kind of a little something that sort of I don't know, it doesn't piss me off, so to speak, but here's the thing, you know, come on, UB, just give us a regular BDU, or, you know, say mid-80s, early 90s BDU top. I mean, come on, man, get with the program a little bit, right? So today, the Cry Combat's not going to work, even though I do like that look a lot. It's not going to work for today's build because, again, today is what your boy Matrix Native rolled out in within, say, the first 5 years that I signed up with the United States Army. Hey, so let's go into it. Now, the thing is, okay, where is it? The long sleeve shirt. Now, that would actually work for this build. However, you know, I only got 15 options. Why didn't you give me more options on the only other really long sleeve shirt in the game, and you're only going to give us 15 options anyways? If this was a non-build, we might get away with it, but it is not. So we will go ahead, since we can't get the BDU in the long sleeve, obviously, we're going to go ahead Now, also, you can equip the fleece if you'd like as well in BDU. We really didn't have said fleece. We had like these nice wool type sweaters and we wear them under our BDUs. Obviously in the field, we just had our regular field jackets, which, again, you can wear the fleece. I'm not hating you. If you do wear this fleece, obviously you want to put it in the Bravo Delta uniform, the BDU. Wow, I went all the way left when I could have just snapped it once right. Huh, there you go. So I'm not going to be equipping the fleece today either. As you know, I'm going to wear the commando. Now, the problem with this is it does come down a little too far from where we actually, there's a certain way that we rolled the sleeve. Actually, the reason we rolled the sleeve like that was because of the NBC hood, the nuclear biological chemical risk. It was easier just the way you could take them down. They came straight down instead of having to unroll them. Again, though, my jarheads out there, you guys just roll them up, and that's fucking hood. Like BDU top's really gonna matter if you've got nerve agent around you. Come on, please. The Army sometimes, boy, I tell you. Anyway, let's go hood commando. Today we're gonna put that in the 2334. Let's track vest. Now, yeah, I would love to put on a plate carrier or something, but I can't because now I am gonna be putting stuff up on the screen while I'm talking here, up on your screen, I guess it would be, during the final edit or whatnot. Again, this wasn't streamed today. Just felt like, pulling out the Elgato and doing a little non-stream build today, especially because it's this build today. So what we're going to do, we're just going to wear the mole, right? Now, we had vest, but they weren't included in our LCE or LBE, however you want to call it, your kit, your gear, whatever. So yeah, so just go ahead, put the mole on, and then we must go with the olive drab. Again, a lot of our gear was BDU and olive drab. The olive drab, a lot of the gear that we got when I went in was a lot of surplus from the Vietnam. However, as I progressed through my pipeline, basically, I got better and better gear, as well as the technology seemed to come around a lot, say the early 80s into, say, the mid to late 90s. So with that being said, go ahead, throw the Malay on in the OD Green 2234 pants. Today, again, I just feel like the commando really fits what I wore. Now, obviously, we didn't have the calf pockets there, but everything else is just about the same. Especially, again, when I went in, though, again, I have talked about the ripstop material before. While I was in, it was really high speed. I liked it a lot. However, when I first went in, they did not have the ripstop. This is ripstop. So it's just something to note because, again, I try to keep it legit, right? You want daily whatever grinds, missions, go to other people's shit, man. Operator Drewski, I know he doesn't watch my shit, but he's a pretty big time guy. I like to follow his stuff as well. You can look in the comments for that link since it threw his name out like that. But for gold AKs and shit, I don't know. You can go to other people's builds. So the Woodlands, we're going to go ahead, commando. We'll put it in the Woodlands. Got that sweet ass crispy ripstop going on. And that will be in the 2334. Huh. I had to put that in, right? Today, footwear, we're going with the black combat boot because now I will tell you a little story. We have these things called Frankenstein boots. If you guys know the brand of that, go ahead and throw them in the comment. I might get you a little something. And then also, though, my favorite boot was the high cut Danner. That I love that boot. Once I got in, through my pipeline, you can start, you get a little latitude with what kind of footwear and this and that. Now, the Danners weren't issued. However, you could buy them and wear them, right? And then, of course, the Cochrane jump boots, which they don't have here. But that was more dress. I don't think I knew a swinging dick that actually wore Cochrane jump boots. If you don't know that, maybe I'll put a little something up on the screen, or maybe you can just Google it. Cochrane jump boots. Anyway, that was big. Spit showing, and then, getting them bloused in your, class A's or your everyday. It was something special. Hood to all my paratroopers. So anyway, let's go. Combat boot. You're just going to keep it in the black and that's how we roll on that. Ghillie suit, obviously today, none. Accessories today, of course. Why wouldn't we? Again, sticking with I rolled with when I first signed up and enlisted. Basically, classic gargoyles. Let's go. Now, I will tell you, though, that once I got through the pipeline and got through to certain units, you know, these and actually some high-speed boots were actually issued. These at first were not, but I think I was in maybe about 14 months and the gargoyles were actually issued. So, point of that being, make sure you're in good with the old supply sergeant. And big hua to everyone that supports the frontline troops. Hua to that. So, classic gargoyles, that's what we're going with today. And that's what you need to go with. Okay, face wear, we're going with the smeg today, okay? Now, you do have a couple of options, seeing how actually we didn't really wear shemags. It was more of like a tactical scarf or whatnot, usually in the OD green. So this is where we're going to go with this, okay? So basically, you can wear the nun, but just remember that if you wear the nun, that basically you're going to look like a tard because of Ubisoft, again, not extending the camo, you know, over your breastplate.
That's what she said.
That's what she said, but over, you know, low enough, or letting us, I mean, just give us a t-shirt anyway. I mean, I just don't get it. Every swinging dick I knew, we always wore t-shirts, right? And I just don't get it, man. I just don't get why Ubisoft didn't make like just a military blouse as stated. Anyways, the other two camo selections I gave you do come down further and should cover that. So just remember that. You can also go, actually, if I had it open, this is actually what I'd be wearing, and that would be, I believe, the tack scarf. Yeah. So if I had this open, I would absolutely be wearing this. I just don't have it open, and I don't feel like, you know, opening it. I'm not really trying to spend any more money on this game. But with that being said, if you got the tack scarf, definitely go ahead and throw that on. I'll probably open it just so I can have it, because that's actually the OD green tack scarf is pretty much what we'd wear, you know, pretty much on it every day. But if you don't have that, go ahead, just equip your shemag and make sure you equip that in the white. Okay, headwear. I know you're already saying Matrix native. You said you would never wear this ACH without the headset. Okay. But I also said that my channel is I try to keep it as legit as possible. I try to keep it, you know, to the point. I don't come off it a lot when I got a build in mind. So with that being said, you know, we were issued the Cavalars, right? I think it's close to the M1 or whatever. But anyway, that's what I wore when I went in. Now, they had just transitioned out of the steel pot. I will tell you that, which the Cav, I can tell you that with a steel pot, the helmet strap was always snapped in the back, right? But when they went to the Cavalar, you know, they had to strap it up just like everybody else. However, with that being said, I'm still not going to wear this clay pot on my head, a planter's pot, if you will. If you keep up with me, you know that. I'm not going to be wearing this planter's pot on my head. I'm just not going to do it. So here's some options for you. So go ahead, equip the boonie cap. Now, I will tell you this. You can put this in the OD green because when I first went in the Army, right, when we went on patrol again, I would have the boonie, I'd have my PC in my ruck, right? And basically, that's how we'd roll, right? And we'd have them in the OD green. And we'd be allowed to wear them in the OD green because, as a lot of you guys know out there, here's the thing. When you're in garrison, right, you got to play by the rules. You got to go with the uni of the day, you know, whatever gear is dictated. That's what you got to go by for the most part. Usually in the field, if you're in a line unit, you can get away with a little bit, you know, not much. But once you get in regiment and get into like Rasta, you know, cab, something like that, you know, there's a lot more flexibility, right? So the boonie caps, what we do, we either wear them in the OD or the BDU. So don't forget about that. You can go ahead and throw them in the BDU if you'd like, or the OD. Both are authorized, right? So what we used to do is we put like our badges, any tabs you'd have, we'd have them sewed in on the very top forward, the front of the boonie, right? And we'd have them sewn in there, right? And then on the back side, you'd have what's called cat eyes. If you don't know what those are, you can go ahead and Google it or wherever if I don't get a picture up. We'd have the cat eyes with our name tape on the back. Cool. And that would be for this boonie, which you're definitely authorized to wear with this build. Again, obviously in RL, we'd have all this stuff stowed in our ruck. We'd be wearing, you know, the hardcover, and then we go from there. And then once we got on mission is when the boonies and the PCs and everything would come out of your ruck, your tack, you know, everything. Like I said, you get a lot of latitude, especially when you're in like tier 1 units. You get a lot more latitude of what you can and you can't wear, especially when you're in the field. So with that being said, go ahead. Grab that boonie if you'd like. You can also go ahead and go with your patrol cap, your PC, right? Now, for your PC, you again, BDU or OD green, we wore them both. I don't think the OD green looks really, really good with this PC for this build, even though we'd have a patrol cap. Now, let me tell you, too, I don't know what this Velcro shit they got in the back. Because your PC caps, at least when I was in, and I'm pretty sure, in fact, I'm almost 100% sure that they're not like that today, okay? You know, they're fitted, okay? Everything you get in the military is pretty much fitted, okay? So I don't know what the Velcro is going on in the back and all that. However, if that was solid in the back, basically, again, you'd have your cat eyes and you'd have your name tape around the back. And then a lot of times, if you were tabbed, you'd have your Ranger tab, you know, on the front with your rank underneath it. And then on the very top side, again, I'm quite sure it's not like that today. It might be. I really don't know, to be honest. I could find out with a phone call. But anyways, point being is we used to, if you had any tabs, if you had, you know, badges or whatnot, you'd sew them on the very front or on the very forward top of your PC, right? It's just some hoo-ass shit, you know, your military bling or whatever. That was definitely, it wasn't authorized, so to speak, but it was kind of, you know, authorized once you were in the field. And actually, once you were in regiment, the Ranger was definitely authorized on your PC or on your soft cap. So there it is. So that's the second option. Well, I guess it would be the third option because the ACH is your first option, right? Again, I'm going to go ahead and throw this bad boy in the BDU myself because I believe I'm going to quit this. Now, your other, obviously, your other would be the beret, okay? And you got 4 choices of what color beret. Actually, this is kind of optional depending, but to stay with my build, you can either pick from the following. You can either pick the forest green, the sandstone, or the black. Okay, the black is actually what I wore when I was in, was the black beret. It wasn't for Army, it was just for the regiment. So again, black beret is what I go to if I did throw on my beret. But again, when you're on mission, you're not really wearing your beret. I'll be honest with you. That's pretty much for garrison and parades and stuff like that. I'm not saying you never wear your beret when you're in your field, because obviously you always got it, right? But yeah, it's few and far between. Okay, and then also, if you're airborne, you can go ahead and put your maroon beret on, right? So we'll get away with that. So again, on your beanie, go ahead. You can fall out with the maroon, and then the forest green, obviously the green, the tan, or the black. But for today's build, I'm going to go ahead and throw on my PC cap because that's pretty much what I wore. Either that or my boonie with my time in regiment or Rasta. So there it is. Go ahead. I'm putting the PC on and I'll be equipping that in the BDU Woodland. Headsets, obviously earpiece. Again, if you wear the ACH with this build, again, this build is the build I wore, or basically what I wore around and what I was issued during, I would say, the first part of my 12 years in the United States Army. Now, we transitioned out of a lot of this gear, and we'll be making builds coming out on some of that gear. So, again, earpiece today, no headset if you wear the ACH on this particular build. Handwear, now, I'm just going to be honest with you. I wore baseball gloves, right? They didn't have all the high-speed Oakleys. Basically, you had the black leather gloves with the wool inserts. I'm sure everybody that was in the Army or the Marine Corps or I guess Air Force, Navy, you know, that was the GI issue, right? That was government issue right there, where the black leather gloves, you know, a lot of us would cut the fingers out and have our inserts under them, this, that, or another. But to be honest, I always found that baseball gloves did me justice. So if you don't have the Echelon gloves unlocked, no worries. Just go ahead, put on your Oakleys. Make sure you put them in black, right? Again, though, I'm going with the Echelon gloves. They remind me a lot of baseball gloves, which I did wear, always usually black, right? I wore baseball gloves in the field, and then with the Echelon gloves, you get that sweet-ass move as well. So this is actually perfect for today's build. Again, Echelon gloves. There it is. Backpacks, Alice sacks, rucksacks. Now, so what we're going to do is basically you can put on the 511 Rush 24. Basically, when I positioned out around the Somalia time, we actually had rucks that had day packs like this, you know, like a recon pack type thing. And then you had a medium on the large with a frame, right? All the rucks that I would ruck with, all of them had frames, right? So with that being said, with the frame, you would usually get this hip belt as well. And trust me, the hip belt is so important when you've got a long ruck, right? A long lurp. So that is why today we're going with the 511 Rush 72. For really the simple fact that, you know, it has the hip belt on it. You know, it has somewhat, looks like a frame more so than, in my opinion, you know, the other rucksacks, Alice packs, backpacks on here. So we're going with the 511 Rush 72. It really, it reminds me of what we carried, which you see it on the screen here. However, there is another pack that I'm, you know, obviously going to have to unlock. That's going to be the Sapper pack here. Because point of fact is, when I first went in, we were issued the large ruck, large Alice pack, right? One each. You could probably stow about 100 pounds of gear in there. However, we did have the back three pockets similar to this. It was like 5 times the size of this, though, okay? So if you have the Sapper pack, you can definitely put it on. Or you can put on, as stated, the 511 72 or the 511 24. And whatever you equip, again, olive drab. Now, that's what the issue was for your LBE, LCE, or your Alice pack, or rucksack, backpack, whatever the fuck. But this is what's funny to me. So the LCE, the LBE, the land bearing equipment, land carrying equipment, what the fuck ever, your kit, your vest there, again, OD green, but you go to the pack, and the pack is OD green. Okay, so, you know, I just don't get where their color scheme is either, because to be honest with you, there's no difference between the sand stone and the coyote brown on the packs as well. So, you know, it's just little stuff like that, you know, attention to detail. I mean, this is supposed to be some kind of high-speed hitter game, right? But yet they don't even pay attention to detail, just like, you know, with the neckline or the breast line of the BDU. If you take the shemag off, like, why don't you, if you're going to make it, like, don't you look at this stuff first? Anyways, with that being said, that's your 3 choices. Go ahead, stick it in. Yeah, olive drab, whichever one you pick. Patches, you know, I ain't hating you. Whatever you want to throw on, I'm putting on the Let's Roll. And that is it. I think today, accessories, the uniform looks pretty hood today. And this is really very, very familiar and very close to what I wore when I first joined. This is basically would be your standard issue. You know, obviously there's some differences because the game just doesn't offer them. A lot of the stuff when I first went in was surplus in Vietnam. So, and that was used in Panama, Grenada, and then obviously we started upgrading once shit started kicking off in the Middle East. So with that being said, I think that I nailed this build today. Again, I do wish I had the tack scarf open instead of the shemag. It would really, really be even truer to my build today. So with that being said, you know what's up. Okay, today our primary, why wouldn't it be? We're going to go ahead and go with the M16. Now, When I first joined, obviously, this is what we were carrying around. Actually, we were pretty much carrying this around the entire time. So, M16A1, M16A2, nothing special about it. We're going to just go ahead. Well, there is something special about it. It's a freaking M16. Huh? So, let's go with parts. Let's go ahead. We're going to keep it with the stock bud stock. Everything will be in black today. Now, today we're going with the stock iron sights. Now, back in my day, really, they did have a scope. I'll try to find a picture so I can put it up on you, but it sucked. It sucked so bad that you were better off using your iron sights. You take down targets downrange better with iron sights than you would, especially on a high humid, and trust me, in Georgia, it gets humid as all fucking get out. But in a humid, or if it starts raining, you're fucked with the scopes that we used to carry around. So with that being said, they don't even offer anything that's close, so we'll go ahead and just roll with the stock iron sights, which, to be honest, is kind of fun, to be quite honest. Throw those in the black. Trigger, of course, full auto semi. Magazine, we're going with the 30 today because I got to keep it real with you, and we did have the 30 back in my day. However, if you want, I ain't even hating you if you want to put on the large 50. That's optional, but I'm going to keep it with the black, the 1-2 extended 30. Let's go. Underbarrel, of course, if you know me, if you followed me, if you followed even half of my builds, you know that this is the dirt nap fucking giver. This is the heartbreaker right here, right? 40 Mike, 203, always carried one. Love this thing to death. Rail, we're going to keep it clean with the rail cover in the 1-2 black. Barrel, we're going with the standard barrel. Why wouldn't we? No special build today for our primary, meaning we're not going to turn into a DMR, even though the M16 would be very, very easy and very capable of being a DMR for another build. So we're going to go ahead, throw the short, or correction, throw the standard in the black. Obviously, it's our only choice. Muzzle, I'm just going with the stock muzzle today. Again, I'm trying to keep it real. Another build, I'm sure I'll go ahead and throw the Victor 2 on there. But for today, we're going to go ahead and roll with the stock muzzle. Make sure, with the stock muzzle, make sure you have your suppressor in the black, but equip the stock muzzle. And there it is, the M16, babies. And let me tell you, they did it justice in this game. I really feel they did, especially you throw some real attachments down, get that kick down a little bit, throw on some scopes, easily a DMR. But we'll be getting more into the M16 and other builds, trust me. Secondary, why wouldn't they? You know, again, we've had this discussion so many times, but again, you know, the parasol, that's what I role play this as. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. We're going to go ahead, equip the 249 or the 240, right? And we'll go ahead and part it out. Stock, going with the stock bud stock. Now, again, same with the patrol cap, you know, the PC, okay? We used to go on patrol all the time, wear patrol caps. In fact, I've actually had, point of me bringing this up, I actually had some pictures up. They're still up. Just go through my videos or whatnot, my vidges, and you will see a couple of pictures with me on patrol with regiment. We got our PCs on, right, in the BDU, and then I'm actually carrying a hog, an M60, right? That's what we used to carry. We ended up upgrading during my time in. To be honest with you, I just loved the parasol. I loved jumping with it. I loved everything about it, to be honest with you. And they use variants of that to this day. However, when I first joined, I used to have to fucking carry that hog around and hump that bitch, and that was no fun. Even though, if you seriously want to get led downrange, the M60 is the go-to. Okay. Obviously, nothing against the Mark 4.8. With that being said, you know, it's just I've fired a Mark 4.8. I've fired the 240. I've fired the M60. And to me, for, you know, durability, accountability, not so much mobile ability, you know, I'll go with the M60. However, with that being said, this is what we're going with today. Role playing that it's a parasol. Stock today, obviously, stock bud stock. Let's go with the black on that. Scope, again, keeping it real. We won't be putting a scope on today. We'll go ahead and put these polymers on. and call it a day. Again, guys, I just try to keep it real. Whatever build I'm doing, I try to research it. Yes, sometimes I might not be accurate if I wasn't in the unit or whatnot, but I try to get, and I know a lot of people in the community, so I either get them on the phone or I research something, but either way, 100% Matrix Native tries to keep it real. So go ahead, equip those polymer iron sights, and I'm telling you, you guys are going to have fun out there in the wildlands without a scope. It's pretty crazy, and it's pretty fun as well. So with that being said, go ahead, throw those in the black, and let's track. Trigger full auto only. Again, 150. If they had an extension, you know what? We wouldn't be wearing it today, or we wouldn't be equipping it today. So standard 150 in the black. Foregrip Victor 2. That being said, go ahead, put that bad boy in the black, and let's get downrange. Rail cover for today, you know, keeping it legit. Put that in the black. Barrel, we're going to go with the standard barrel. Keep that in the black. Muzzle. Today, we are going to put the compensator Victor 2. Psych. Again, what did I just get through saying? So, stock muzzle today, we're going to be putting that in the black. If you got a compensator, again, keeping it real, just throw that stock muzzle on and get downrange. And that's it right there. You know my feelings about it. If you don't, just take a look at some of my other videos. But to me, I do like the Mark. However, this 249 is not a bad weapon as well. Plus, with a few variations, again, don't ask why they didn't put the saw in this game. So pistols. Today we're going with the M1911. If you want, you can go ahead and carry the M9, but it's one of the two, nothing else. M1911, let's go ahead and equip it out. Now, paints today, we're going with the steel because that's basically what it was when I carried it. So go ahead, equip that in the steel, part it out, magazine. We're going with the standard 8 rail cover. Again, all this, just keep it in the steel. Standard barrel, steel. Stock muzzle, steel. And there it is. That being said, everything else, you know, is pretty much optional. I ain't hating you. Whatever drone you want to carry. Again, you play with me, you only get to carry 2 of everything. That's probably why I don't have a lot of stuff unlocked, because I usually just carry the diversion and the frag, as you guys know. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's build. This is pretty much exactly what I was issued once I joined the military service of the United States Army. And it's a pretty nice build today, I must admit. Now, here we got our guys equipped out with the different berets. You can go ahead and take a look at them. And again, rocking the M16 today. So accurate. Look at that. Look at the accuracy of that, dude. Even moving, right? Get a little full auto going. Look at that accuracy. And that's with no attachments on either, boys. That's pretty freaking hua. So with that being said, do me a favor. Have an amazing day today. I hope tomorrow's amazing. I hope yesterday's amazing. Tell all your friends about my channel, and don't forget, snipe, like, snipe, sub, my peeps. Operator 41. Catch you next video. 'Cause that's how we roll.